And joining us now to discuss is Sheriff Javier Salazar of Bexar County, Texas. Sheriff, thank you so much for being with us. And we should note you are here in D.C. There is a sheriff's conference going on. And later today, Tom Homan, the border czar, the immigration czar, is going to be speaking to you. Can you tell us, as you have been talking to administration officials, or at least one, are you being asked to work with ICE on raids? What is the ask? Well,
I'll tell you what, we have not been asked to participate in any raids back home. I can tell you my folks are just going on about our regular everyday business. With that being said, you know, I'm certainly not pretending to speak for the White House or the Trump administration. I'm not here to pass a message. What I can tell you is all I can share is what I have on good authority from a high-ranking law enforcement official. Had a one-on-one meeting with them, and what I'm hoping is to bring down the fear level in my community and communities across the country by sharing what was shared with me.
Go ahead. Tell us what that is.
Well, so he clarified somewhat about the schools and the churches, right? The fear was that they were going to be going door to door, church to school, checking students, checking teachers. That's not necessarily what I'm told is their rules of engagement. I think prior to, there had been orders that schools and churches were off limits, and unfortunately, I believe that you know, drug runners and smugglers, coyotes, knew that, and so they would step into school property or church property, as it were, and they knew that they could not be apprehended. My understanding is that has been removed, and so unless they have reason to head into a school or a church in fresh pursuit of somebody, now granted, if they're in the process of looking for somebody with a warrant, for example, that is undocumented, and they have information that this guy drops off his kids at a school at 8 o'clock in the morning, well, certainly they're going to lie in wait at the school. But my understanding is they're not just going to be going willy-nilly school to school, church to church to see which kids or teachers or whoever may be undocumented.
I understand that you've previously said that Bexar County is on some kind of list for raids. Could you expand on that? Who's putting together this list? What does it mean for your community?
Well, and I don't know who's putting together the list. We've seen a lot of talk about, you know, different major cities being targeted, and you know, we have heard through unofficial channels that San Antonio is being considered for these raids. Doesn't surprise me one bit. But with that being said, I have not seen that from any sort of official sources. And so, you know, I know that social media sometimes really helps, and sometimes it tends to get in the way with, you know, promoting rumors and things like that again do nothing to help us bring down the anxiety and fear level in our communities.
You are planning to cooperate, though, so I wonder what you're expecting to be asked. We currently have been watching Oklahoma, for instance, where they are looking at something very different than what you're describing in terms of expectations. They're looking at providing information about certainly parents and questions locally about students and their immigration status to the Trump administration. Tell us what you would be willing to cooperate on and what you wouldn't be.
Well, I'll tell you, we have never not honored an immigration detainer in the jail, for example, because that's one of the things that in Texas, sheriffs are responsible for the jail. We have never failed to honor an immigration detainer. But with that being said, that sounds awful extreme. And certainly that's not something that I intend to do as proactively. In fact, I'm more the opposite. I would prefer that our immigrants in our community, whether documented or undocumented, feel comfortable coming to me, especially if they're a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime. Come to me and report that. We're not going to look to deport you. We're not going to mistreat you. We're going to treat you like a victim or a witness. And in fact, you've got protections under the law as a witness or a victim, and we're going to exercise those in order to bring those that are responsible for doing you harm to justice while protecting your rights.
Are you concerned that in the process of doing that, you may be targeted by the administration for, in their view, sheltering or aiding undocumented migrants? They have vowed to go after folks who do that.
Oh, you know, if I were afraid of being targeted, I wouldn't have spoken at the DNC, and there's a lot of other things that I would do. So, I mean, I don't think that's an issue necessarily. You know, if they want to come after me for helping a citizen or a person in need in my community, have at it.